Unique human touch that goes along with the Aqua Tower. All of those balconies, which are ebbing and flowing from the outside of the structure, are hand-drawn, like an animator would do for an animated film. Take a piece of paper, draw the first floor balconies, second piece of paper, second floor balconies, third floor, fourth floor, fifth floor, on and on and on, which makes it also a very bird-friendly building. The birds can see that structure. They do not knock into it, which made PETA give it an award for humanitarian ecological preservation. It's a very famous building. Great. I thought that was done. All right, a 45-degree angle coming up here to the right is a taller building with an onion-shaped dome up at the top. Once again, ideas are constantly flowing through Chicago. We had a big fad. That onion-shaped dome did not originally exist in 1929 when that building was done. It was just a flat platform. That flat platform was a blimp landing pad for blimps to come into the city, land on top of the Intercontinental Hotel. Blimps never quite caught on because of the Hindenburg. So no blimps are landing on top of that today, but it is kind of a cool idea that even blimps were thought to be the future before they went in another direction, literally. Past the Star of the Chicago, right there, that wonderful shoreline boat. Keep on looking down, you'll run into the Apple Store. It's at eye level, made all out of windows with a flat roof that curves up in a silver color. That is supposed to look like a MacBook. They did that on purpose. It was built in 2013, cost $33 million to create, and that is where Jean-Baptiste Ponte du Sable had his homestead here in the city. You're kind of looking at the birthplace of Chicago right here. This is the natural mouth of the Chicago River. Into Lake Michigan. All that down there is man-made. We'll talk about how that worked a little later on in the tour. Then in 1803, we got Fort Dearborn, which sat on the other side of the Michigan Avenue Bridge. And you can still see the outline of it in the street as you pass down the Magnificent Mile. That white building with the clock on the top is another fan favorite, the Wrigley Building, to the right-hand side of the boat. 1921 is the front section, 1924 the back section. That clock up there is modeled after a clock tower on a Spanish cathedral in Seville, Spain, called La Giralda. It makes this Spanish revivalist architecture. There is 250,000 terracotta tiles that clad the outside. Those are very beautiful, just like me. They're also very fragile, just like me. Yeah, they also need to be washed with soap and water by hand.
Just like you.
Just like me. Once a year for the Wrigley Building, a couple more times a year for me, I promise. The architects are Graham Anderson, Probst and White. You're going to hear that name a lot on this tour here today. They are a very important architectural firm in Chicago's history. In front of us, living on the bend of the river, is the Trump International Hotel and Tower, completed in 2009 by architectural superstar Adrian Smith. Adrian Smith is working with an architectural firm called Skidmore, Owings and Merrill. They're kind of like the modern day Graham Anderson, Probst and White. They are everywhere. I call him an architectural superstar because he is the lead designer on a little building in Dubai called the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world. This is the second tallest building in Chicago and exhibits an architectural style called contextualism, which pretty much means that it reflects the city back onto itself using hidden steel beams and reflective windows. Just past that is a boxy black structure, the AMA Plaza, which doesn't look like much on first glance, but I gotta build the historical context around this building. 1932, Weimar, Germany, the Bauhaus School of Architecture is getting ready to move to Chicago and open up the new Bauhaus School of Architecture, led by Ludwig Mies van der Rohe, the architect of the AMA Plaza. He propelled architecture into the future with his use of boxy shapes and industrial materials like steel. This is kind of the blueprint for a modern skyscraper. All roads lead from the Bauhaus. We will continue on that theme with the Marina City, or the Corncob Buildings, as we like to call them in Chicago. Built in 1964, they stand at 587 feet tall. They were designed by student of Mies van der Rohe, Bertrand Goldberg. Bertrand Goldberg was tasked with bringing people back into the largely financial district of downtown Chicago, where no one was living at that time. They are designed to be a city within a city. They've got movie theaters and bowling lanes and gyms and restaurants and yacht parking and a very dangerous parking lot up there.
Yeah,
Now I know what you're
it
thinking,
is.
Eric, can't you park your own car at the parking deck of the Marina City? No. No, you cannot. They do not trust you to do that. They think you're going to drive straight into the Chicago River. You got to get a valet to do that for you. Your second question is, Eric, has anyone ever driven off of the parking deck of Marina City? Yes. Yes, they have. Of course they have. Welcome to America. For one instance, in the 1980 film The Hunter, Steve McQueen drove his car off of that parking deck into the Chicago River below. Probably why we cannot park our own car there now. So thank you, Steve McQueen, for ruining it for the rest of us. Bertrand Goldberg liked to say that there are no right angles in nature. So we went for the cylindrical walls to take more of a naturalistic approach. There's another building on the South Branch that looks very similar to that Marina City. Let's see if you can point it out when we get down there. Hugging the right-hand side of the river on its way up the main branch, this red brick building with a clock on the top is the Reed Murdoch Center. It is the closest approximation we have on this tour to a distinctly Midwestern style of architecture known as the Prairie School style. The Prairie School is built horizontally rather than vertically, and that is meant to run parallel with and to complement the flat skies of the Great Plains. One architect in particular really liked the Prairie School style. His name is Frank Lloyd Wright. Now there's something a little bit weird about the Reed Murdoch. Let's figure out what it is. Let's count the columns of windows from the middle. On the right we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns of windows, and on the left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns of windows. 6 and 5. It's a little bit lopsided. It was not always this way. Prior to 1930 it was 6 and 6. But in 1930 Chicago wanted to extend LaSalle Street. A lot of people were passing on over top of LaSalle Street. So instead of demolishing this building, because it's a very nice looking building on the main branch, they opted to just block the section off. They left it a little bit off kilter. Now, if you get off this 75-minute architecture tour and you say to yourself, I just need more architecture, I'm not satisfied, I am so interested in architecture now, you can head out to the western suburbs of Oak Park and you can find the Frank Lloyd Wright homes, some of his work here in Chicago. Fun day excursion. Past Wells Street and the Chicago L, we've got a massive limestone behemoth to the right, the Merchandise Mart with that green roof up there. Holds 73 football fields worth of office space in that building alone. If you were to lop off that front section and lay it down the ground, it would span over 2.5 acres. That makes it still in the top 50 largest buildings in the world today. When it was built in 1930, it was the largest building in the world in square footage, had its own zip code up until the year 2008. Now this is Art Deco architecture by Graham Anderson, Probst, and White, our best friends. We know that it is Art Deco because it is very meticulously, very beautifully decorated. It's also loud and heavy and big. And it's also got these limestone pillars going up the sides and this forward, upward momentum. And these head busts sitting up in front of the Merchandise Mart. These are the merchant princes of Chicago. Sears, Wanamaker, Roebuck, Marshall Field, Montgomery Ward, all the big dogs of the late 1800s and early 1900s who were making a ton of money here in Chicago with our railroad industry, our textile industry, and our biggest of all, our meat packing industry here in the city. We are passing into a beautiful area of Chicago during a beautiful time of day, Wolf Point, a very new area here in the city. Home to the newest building in downtown, the Salesforce Tower, coming up here with those screens on the inside just past these trees. It was built in 2023, just about 3 years ago. It will not be the newest building in downtown for very much longer. You may have seen the one that's getting built on Navy Pier, right next to Navy Pier. But for now, it still holds that title. And in front of us, the River Point Tower, or the Hot Pocket Building. Yep.
Oh yeah, it looks like a
built
pocket.
in 2018. And then to the left, we've got another lovingly nicknamed structure, 150 North Riverside. Comes down in a V shape. That base is only about 37.5 feet wide, the same width as the boat that we are on now. We call this the tuning fork, or the champagne flute, or the martini glass. We'll talk about how that works a little later on in our tour. This is called Wolf Point because wolves used to roam this area before all of this concrete and industry was here. One of the popular pastimes of early Chicago settlers was to hunt these wolves on horseback. As we enter into the North Branch, we'll take a look at some of those past chapters in Chicago's history, beginning with the pink brick Fulton House. Coming up here to the left, dating back to 1898, the oldest building on our tour today. You can kind of think of it as a big freezer. It was a cold storage facility for meat packing plants. Bring meats up from the south side, put them in there, freeze them, package them, send them off to wherever they needed to go using the Carroll Avenue Railroad Bridge. This bridge sticking straight up into the sky on the right-hand side of the river, dating back to 1908, our oldest bridge on our tour today, used to connect